KHOU 11 News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Ron Trevino. Welcome to our webcast. Thousands of people have converged on Galveston Island on this first weekend of spring break. Visitors and locals took advantage of the beautiful weather to hit the beaches. The crowds also caused traffic delays and congestion. It's also the first weekend since Texas lifted the mask mandate and allowed businesses to reopen at 100% capacity.
They can take care of themselves as far as whether they want a mask or not. It's completely up to them. You know what I mean? We don't need the government entity to come out here and tell us you need a mask or you don't need a mask.
I'd like to see the island like this. It'll bring it back to life and businesses will go back to normal.
We'll have much more on spring break in Galveston coming up tonight on KHOU 11 News at 10. A Baptist church in Houston's Sunnyside area was transformed into a COVID vaccination clinic today. 1,000 people got shots at Mount Hebron Baptist Church. The clinic was part of the city's continued push to make sure people in underserved neighborhoods have access to the vaccines.
Today, not only at this site, 1,000 here, be 1,000 on the north side, providing over 500 in the Vietnamese community as well today. So a lot that's taking place on today alone.
The mayor also applauded the passage of the American Rescue Plan, saying Houston will get $615 million through the relief bill. He says the city was in a huge financial hole because of the pandemic, and the relief money will keep the city from having to make severe cuts to jobs and services. Today, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee was partnering with St. Joseph Medical Center and Houston Community College to give out the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Hundreds of people lined up to get the single-dose vaccine at Living Word Fellowship Church on TC Jester. The site is part of a federal pilot program to reach people who may have trouble getting to the super sites run by FEMA. Dozens of demonstrators took to the streets of Lamarck to protest the deadly police shooting of Joshua Feast.
Say his name! Joshua Feast! Say his name! Joshua Feast!
Feast was killed by a Lamarck police officer named Jose Santos last December. Police say Feast was a person of interest in a rash of shootings, and the officer had reason to believe he was armed. Body cam video appears to show Feast running away when he was shot. Protesters are demanding the officer be fired or reprimanded. The shooting is still being investigated by the Galveston County Sheriff's Office. Activists rallied in Louisville, Kentucky to mark the one-year anniversary of the death of Breonna Taylor. The 26-year-old emergency room technician was shot in her apartment by 3 police officers during a botched raid. The officers were fired but never faced criminal charges. But Louisville did pass Breonna's law, which bans no-knock warrants. Now take a look at this. A tornado caught on camera in West Texas. The twister touched down yesterday in shallow water just outside of Lubbock. There were no reports of any injuries or damage. The area saw over an inch of rain last night and was hit with another round today. And Addison, more tornado watches and warnings in West Texas today.
Yeah, Ron, we got the same areas underneath that bullseye for severe weather as the severe weather season is really starting to ramp on up across portions of the southern plains. Like we can see right here in these highlighted areas off this scale going 1 from 5, 5 being the most severe right there. That's a high risk for severe weather. Thankfully, we don't have that, but nonetheless, we have number 4. That's a moderate risk for severe weather, and we have had at least 9 reports of tornadoes up in the Lubbock, Amarillo area, and 5 of them have been confirmed so far. So hopefully nobody was caught in harm's way. But right now you can see pretty much down the I-35 corridor westward is that risk of severe weather out there for the rest of the day today and into tonight. Houston is not included in that risk for today and will not be dealing with an issue of severe weather as we go forward through tomorrow's time frame as well. Most of that will be moving up to the north and east of the city. But we can see right here we have a tornado watch highlighted in yellow going all the way up through 10 o'clock tonight. You can see those cells starting to fire on up, feeding off that daytime warmth and the mugginess, and then they're making their way to a northeasterly direction where we do have several tornado warnings highlighted in the pink areas right there. So we may have a confirmed tornado on the ground from some of these cells, which are certainly looking very much threatening for that area. Thankfully, they are pulling away from the major cities of Amarillo and Lubbock, but nonetheless, there are several towns they could impact along the way up in the Panhandle area. That's the warm side of the storm system. The cold side is bringing around snow and in some areas, maybe around Denver, feet of snow before this system is done. They have winter storm warnings highlighted in the pink, and just to the north in Cheyenne, they have blizzard warnings where there will be wind gusts and sustained winds in excess of 35+ miles per hour for multiple hours at a time. It's all part of one very large, complex spring-like storm system with cold wrapping on the back end of it, warm, muggy air getting driven up ahead of it, and we are dealing with the chance for that warm, muggy side to bring us some active weather for tomorrow's time frame. That system at the surface is being driven by this upper area of low pressure, which is cut off from the jet stream, that flow of air that moves the systems around the planet. Well, as it's cut off, it gets the chance for slowly crawling through the region, which means portions of the Rockies and the plains will be bombarded with active weather for at least another 36 to 48 hours before the system finally gets a chance to getting picked up by the jet stream and getting displaced out of the area. Up ahead of the storm system, it's warm. Temperatures are in the 60s, 70s, even 80s up towards Del Rio. Behind it, temperatures are going to start to drop. They're already around 30 degrees in Denver, so any precipitation that is falling down likely sticking to those roadways up there in the Mile High City. Our temperatures are definitely looking much more pleasant by comparison. We got 74 degrees in Conroe, 76 degrees in College Station, 69 degrees in the Galveston area. And looking up across in the Kemah area, it does look for the most part rather peaceful, but breezy winds are still bringing in more moisture over time. We're sitting at a temperature currently of 69 degrees over that way in the Kemah Boardwalk area. But earlier on today, we saw our temperature soaring at least 10 degrees above average across much of Harris County, getting to daytime highs into the low 80s. As we move forward throughout the rest of the night tonight, it's going to be still storm-free. We're going to be having mostly cloudy skies around town, with us watching a little bit of some patchy coastal fog being an issue overnight tonight and in towards tomorrow morning. But it's roughly around 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when scattered showers start to become an issue. And roughly around 6:30 in the morning, just as you're turning on for H-Town Rush in the morning hours, we do see light rain pushing on in across the region. Temperatures are hanging out in the mid to upper 60s. That cold front associated with that system doesn't start to enter in towards the metro area until roughly about 10 to 11 o'clock, pushing on in from College Station and Brenham down towards Columbus at first, bringing along scattered showers and maybe a few isolated thunderstorms as well. As it heads on in across portions of Harris County, it's going to be making its way through roughly around noon, and then by 4 o'clock, it's now making its way through our eastern counties, going past Liberty County, Chambers County, Galveston County as well, with the skies starting to get dry out there towards Brenham, but the clouds will still be around throughout much of the day tomorrow. But once we get past tomorrow, in which case we're going to be waking up with the sunrise a little bit later. We now spring forward. Don't forget to set your clocks forward before you go to bed tonight. Then making your way throughout Sunday, we see that rain showers coming on down. Temperatures getting up to around the mid 70s. We're going to go up into the upper 70s on Monday with mostly cloudy skies, and then we're going to be watching for another cold front that approach our area Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday is St. Patrick's Day. Right now it's a 40% chance for seeing scattered showers in the afternoon hours. Once it moves out of town, we start to bring in drier, cooler air across the region. Temperatures going down to the low 70s for highs, the upper 40s for those lows. All the while, we're going to keep those skies on the brighter side of things, Ron. We're talking about sunshine coming on in for many spots around town.
I need some sunshine. All right, thank you so much, Addison.
3, 2, 1.
How about that? Rapper Trey the Truth expanding his business empire, cutting the ribbon on his new bump box store in the Galleria. The store specializes in high-end boom boxes, pagers, and much more. In honor of the opening, Mayor Turner declared today Trey the Truth Bump Box Houston Day. And Trey does so much work to help out the community. Way to go. That's going to do it for us for now. For all the good folks here at KHOU, I'm Ron Trevino. Catch us on TV tonight at 10 o'clock.